Oh wait, no, wait, no, you're spring bonding. Oh, I gotta find a knife. I gotta find a knife. How do I find a knife in this thing? Oh Jesus! Hey there, and welcome back one last time to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in Sister Location, where the goal is to pretty much unlock the secret night. Nope, not here. The secret night by doing, I guess, these 5 challenges. I mean, originally I was going to do all of them. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but we don't really have much else to do, right? A lot of this I'm probably going to end up skipping as well, just because they're very self-explanatory, like, especially compared to what we did last video, which was 1420. So at this point, this is just going to be easy pickings, really. I do want to say, I want to try and actually get to playing some regular horror games again soon, because I haven't done any of that since I finished Total Chaos. Ever since I finished that playthrough, I was just, that kind of took a lot out of me. It was a pretty long playthrough for me, so I was like, just, I guess for one I was a bit low on time, but also I was kind of like tired after playing that, because we had quite a few like long series leading up to the end of the year, right? It was pretty much Chronos: The New Dawn, which is a great horror game. Also had Silent Hill F, and then Total Chaos. I might as well take this opportunity during the slower nights to get some of these shots that we didn't get to see during all those other difficulty runs. Huh, I didn't realize the power also gets drained by your camera light. Now that I find interesting, because I would have imagined if the vent lights don't drain power, I would have guessed the camera lights don't drain power either, but I guess they do. And there we go. Next will be Lady Nights 2, which should add JJ. Who else would it add, actually? JJ. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, so yeah, that's right. Ladies Night 1 and 2, Creepy Crawlers 1 and 2, and then Shadow Absorption 1. But Ladies Nights 2. Oh, it just adds JJ and makes everyone else more aggressive. Okay. Alright, we're very close to wrapping up Ladies Night 2. Alright, we're very close to wrapping up Ladies Night 2. Honestly, pretty much the same again. JJ only really adds an additional interaction on the right, but besides that, the same rotation pretty much applies. They don't really show up too crazy. I mean, hell, Mangle barely shows up even at this rate. Alright, new character yet again. So that means next we have Creepy Crawlies 1. Now this is the 2 Wizards and Mangle. So this is going to be even easier, because with these 2, I don't even need to check the vents. I just need to pretty much sit there and wait. So this one's going to be really easy. And then Creepy Crawlies 2 is going to add quite a bit, but again, I don't think I'm really that worried. There we go, 6 AM. Honestly, that might be, I think that was the slowest custom preset, because literally, most of the night I was charging the music box constantly, and then I would check events, even though I didn't actually have to, because the withered animatronics drag your camera down so that you can, you know, deal with them. Alright, next up is Creepy Crawlies 2, with both Withered, Bonnie, and Chica, Mangle, Balloon Boy, JJ. So I'm probably just going to be doing, I guess, the 1420 strat just to cover my bases on the left and right. So far we're at 3 AM, and none of the toys have visited, or at least I haven't spotted any of them in the vents. They might have been dealt with whenever one of the Withered showed up, but so far I've just been doing this, and I've only really had to worry about when the Withered show up. But besides that, business as usual. And bingo, 6 AM. I think after this is the Shadow Obsession, or whatever that the Shadow ones are called. Let's see. It's it should be back here actually. Shadow Absorption. Those are the last two. We have Withered Foxy, so I actually have to use the light. Puppet, Balloon Boy, Shadow Bonnie at 20, and Shadow Freddy at 5. And then when we do Shadow Absorption 2, it swaps a little bit with Bonnie and Freddy, and then we get Golden Freddy. So 2 more to go, and then we can do the Secret Night. Or I guess after this we can do Secret Night, but I might as well, you know, finish all of it. In this case, I actually have to start using the flashlight. And I guess I should use both lights, I think. Is it both BB and JG that are active in this one? I literally just saw it, but I think at this rate I kind of like just skimmed it because like I'm used to like the gameplay loop one way or another. I've seen some comments referencing how I tend to say Jesus Christ a lot whenever I get jump scared. I already like replied to the comment, but I was like, I don't know why that's my go-to response at the time. It's really like even, I mean, maybe it's like, because I even say it like normally in passing, like in these videos, right? Like literally just like now, right? Saying like, oh Jesus Christ, I almost got, you know, something like that. And it's like, I don't know, it's somehow like just randomly became part of the vocabulary for me. Where I just randomly say Jesus Christ whenever I get startled. Not always. Sometimes like, oh, like it's like I'm about to say it, but it just doesn't get said. But I don't know. I don't really know how that started, and I don't really know how long I've been doing it, to be honest. I don't know if I've been doing it since I first started making videos, but it's just something I guess I've noticed with whenever I get jump scared. It's like the most common thing I say at this point. I would say the only other thing that has been said about my jump scares is that they tend to sound very quiet. The way that you know, when you always hear people make jump scares and they always talk about, oh, you know, the neighbors are gonna think something happened or something, like kind of example. And just for me, it's like I've never had an experience that made me jump scared like that before. I've never gotten scared like that, period. That's just how, you know, a lot of the times whenever I get jump scared, a lot of it tends to be like a gasp, right? So like like it's like the breath like escapes my lungs almost type of feeling. So that's why usually my jump scares sound so reserved in comparison. Which at the same time, like when I listen back to it as I'm editing, it's like that doesn't even sound like a normal jump scare like reaction, because I've seen so many jump scares, you know, from YouTube videos over the years. So whenever I listen to myself sometimes getting jump scared, I'm just like, it sounds so odd in comparison. But I don't know, just figured I'd mention that because something that I used to see quite a bit, like mentioned in passing in the comments or whatnot. I'm not really bothered by it, like, you know, that's just how I get jump scared, you know. I don't really mind one way or another. I just figured I'd talk about it because, for one, well, it's starting to get a bit tiring just like sitting here in silence, not doing anything, or just surviving the night. I guess it would make a lot more sense if you actually saw how I looked like when I was getting jump scared or whatnot, like reaction wise. You would see like I don't even really like physically jump that much at the reaction. I guess I get not staggered. What's the word for it? What? That's not the right reaction. What's the word for it? There's like a word for it. I'm missing it. Startled. There you go. When I get startled, like it's like it's a quick shock, and that's about it for me. When it comes to like the biggest jump scares I've had, that actually more so sounds like I got scared, right? Because like that's the reality. It's like a lot of these jump scares, like I'm not even, you know, getting scared. Like I mean, yes, to some degree, like, yeah, it catches me by surprise, obviously, but it's not out of fear. My biggest jump scares have really been with specifically free horror games. Especially the house invasion ones. Those are the ones that really get to me because in general they make me insanely uncomfortable. The whole premise of it all. I point to games like Fears to Fathom, for example, which tends to deal with that kind of theme very often. Even to this day, to some extent, I get somewhat paranoid about it. Like when, you know, there's a random sound or something, I tend to actually look around like, okay, was I actually imagining that? Because those kind of scenarios make me insanely uncomfortable. I don't know where I'm going with this. Listen, like I said, I needed to talk while doing this, because a lot of these runs that I'm showing are pretty much like instant because I'm not talking at all, because a lot is either, you know, a lot of it is literally me just like doing, you know, going through the night and everything, because again, this is all like just steps to get to the secret night. Oh, I completely forgot there's Freddy's Circus. Oh my god. When's the last time I even saw Freddy as like as like actual characters here? Oh my god. Okay. Freddy's Circus, and then we can move on to the secret night. It's been a long time coming, we're here. But yeah, I don't know, I just figured I'd talk about jump scares, I guess. I mean, fitting, given what we're playing, but I don't know, it's just something that I saw recently, I guess, in the comments, so I just wanted to talk about it. Oh, we got ourselves a little, like a little Bonnie plushie thing. Look at that. Alright, home run. Home stretch, I mean. Let me not get out of myself. There we go. So that concludes every custom night challenge except for the final one. Oh, it was a long time coming, but we finally got it. We finally did it. It's so much. That was like, what, 18 in total? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then the secret night is here. So, quick recap. With Spring Bonnie, they're going to show up at the office, and then you got to find the knife on camera. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. And then the puppet is replaced by Endo02. He'll be sitting on camera. 11, if he wakes up, shock him. Everyone else is the same, though, right? Freddy, mask. VR Toy Freddy, mask. Only difference is these two come from the center. Interesting. But they both show up in the office. Office. Here appears in the right vent. Left vent. Office. Hall. Looks out the right vent. Huh, looks out the right vent. Is that the same thing here? Yeah, it's the same thing. Brow Boy. When he gets into the office, access to the flashlight. DD. Access to cameras will be impossible. Same thing goes for Fredbear, Spring Bonnie. This is kind of like a past version of sorts. Not for all of them, but to some extent. You can even here, like, these are the core ones, and these are the withered ones. So this is in a bygone age when they were all fine to some extent. Obviously, Paper Pals are doing the distraction with W. So camera 11 is the key, like usual. But now we also gotta start paying attention to cameras. Oh boy. Oh, they look fun. Okay. Controlled shock. Oh, I got a giant plushie here now. Okay, well. Okay, well, this one's certainly gonna look interesting. This is such a weird control scheme for me because I'm already not. Okay, I had no idea. I didn't know what that was. So I had to do the shock just in case. Okay, but it's not that. Okay. Go away. I can't tell if that's the thing I'm supposed to shock. No, wait, no, it's an endosculpting. What am I on about? Oh, shoot. Why did I try to flash you with the light there? Go away. So far, so good. Oh wait, no, wait, no, you're Spring Bonnie. Oh, I gotta find a knife. I gotta find a knife. How do I find a knife in this thing? Oh, Jesus! I reacted very slowly there. I didn't know what to do about the knife yet. Alright, at least I know they are giant, so I shouldn't have too much trouble. Find the knife on camera. So this is the only way to test out their mechanics. Hold on. Knife. Like, where the hell do you see a knife, though? Like, on camera of all places. They make it seem as though it's very easy to find. Maybe I'm supposed to use a light to help find it. Bro, it's like... Find a knife? Like, where else can you hide a knife in this place? I gotta see what this knife looks like or something, somehow. Alright, so I got a better idea of what I'm looking for. The knife in question is actually pretty big, and I think it's meant to just be on camera, like that. That's what it was. That's literally, okay, that was a perfect example. It can get tricky to see, but you can still see it even with the static. And as for this, as for the endo, all you have to do, oh my god, now I just realized why that's annoying. Because the bloody paper plate. Controlled shock. Mask. Okay. Yeah, this could actually get tricky. Because it feels like... Oh, hold on. Shoot. Damn. Trying to find the knife on this is kind of... There we go. Oh, Jesus Christ, I did not mean to do that. I was in puppet mode. Okay, so yeah, if you shocked despite not being active, that happens. Okay, this is good though, this is good practice. Bro, what the hell? Okay, well, so far, the biggest issue with that mechanic is like showing them back to back is already kind of diabolical like that, but the biggest problem is if I get pulled out of the cams to deal with another mechanic. That can get tricky. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's a tricky one. I thought that was Fredbear for a second. That scared me. It's hard to I haven't seen how he looks like in the middle hallway, so I have to be careful. Also, I haven't seen Spring Bonnie yet, but not really the most ideal scenario. Also, I gotta be careful with how I'm using this. Oh. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Shoot. Well, that's not good. But see what I mean? Like, that scenario, that's really tricky because what I'm starting to see now is that you kind of need some RNG here. Shoot, why'd I do it so early? I got paranoid for no reason. Yeah, these slight changes make this the hardest night by far. Because you have to be a lot more attentive with cameras. You know what I mean? Especially under a time limit. I would say 5 turns. After 5 rounds of this, then I should check the shock. Yeah. Oh my god, though. Also, it seems like the blade only shows up on these left cameras. At least so far they have been. Alright, 1. That was 2. Let's say 3. 4, 5. Oh, Jesus Christ. See, I did it there. I did it there. Oh my god. I think I could probably extend the search a little more, but Honestly, I can probably like use bigger gaps for when I'm checking on the endo, but I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to let it happen too long and then I get caught by something, you know, like a surprise thing when I try to pull up the cameras, and then next you know I don't have enough time. So it's best to just like try and stick to a good consistency, make sure you're clear so that nothing's interrupting you. Or at least like make it so that even if something does interrupt you, it's not gonna be super detrimental to your run, you know what I mean? Like in this case, just stick to the 5 rule. Oh my god, find knife. Knife. Go away. Go on, shoot. Shoot. Wait, what? Was that... Wait, when the hell did Spring Bonnie get in the room? Wait, no, Fredbear. Oh, wait, he must have been in the room. Oh, damn it. He must have been in the room when I used the flashlight. Damn it. See, I'm getting the complacency is back now. Because I no longer... How did I not notice, though? Wait, that is him! Oh my god. Wait, so I've been seeing him this whole time. Oh, that's so cheeky. Because he looks like a normal animatronic, he looks so safe to flash. But I can see a little difference. It looks like from a quick glance, it looks like he has like some sort of bushy tail, like around here. But that explains it. I've been seeing him there so many times. I didn't think it was gonna be a giant face or anything. I thought they might do something different, but they trolled me good there. Oh my god, to think that's the reason I died. Okay, so now we are sticking to one light at a time until I can confirm Foxy's appearance. Oh, that's a first. Oh no. Shoot! Come on, I was trying to put on the... Oh, why did it have to show up so late? Why? Oh. Damn it. That was it. That was the run. And I know it was Toy Foxy that got me, but god damn. So far, the main thing I've learned is if they force my camera down as soon as I pull it up, then I know it's Spring Bonnie related. Because Spring Bonnie's the only one that does it. Besides that, I'm usually good. Spring Bonnie's the one that forces you down immediately, which makes sense, but it's like, it happens when everyone else is attacking, which now I think that's starting to clue me in a bit more into how they're programmed. I think well, I'll explain it after. I don't really want to let idle chatter right now get in the way of this. I'm too locked in. I'm like really dragging out how long I can be on camera. I'm really dragging it out. I'm very sure it has to do with the cameras. It all has to do with the cameras. And the fact of the matter is that now there's a mechanic that forces you to go on camera a lot more often. Or a lot more deliberately, as opposed to just like... If anything, it actually fits really well with the gameplay loop, but there we go. Okay. Yeah, if anything, I'll talk about my thoughts. I think I know what's happening there. It might be unintentional, the issue that I am thinking of anyway. But there he goes. Thanks for playing. We still managed to beat it. We beat the RNG. Let's go. We actually finished the entirety of the game. I was not at all expecting that. Look at that. Got everything. Everything. So, with all that said, now we can move on to gameplay thoughts, pretty much, since that's the main focus of all this as a custom night game. Overall, obviously, from a gameplay standpoint, it pretty much plays like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 from a gameplay loop standpoint. Only it works a little bit... Well, actually, no. Vent lights aren't powered separately. Like, they're infinite. So, in a sense, yeah, I feel like it's a lot like Fnaf 2, or at least what I imagine, based on what I've seen, right? Obviously... Mask mechanics for these 6 animatronics. Withered, Foxy, Flashlight, Mangle, a little bit different. They show up in the vent as well, but they have like a sound. They don't have the same double trouble as FNAF 2. Balloon Boy disables flashlights. JJ obviously is new. They disable cameras, which obviously gets to be a bit of an issue with the puppet. But I don't know if it's as big of an issue. I think it can definitely be a hiccup, but... Obviously, again, another character that you want to make sure you don't accidentally miss when checking the vents. Withered Golden Freddy, either you put on the mask when he's in the office, or, you know, he's in the distance and you can't spam your flashlight, which obviously clashes with Withered Foxy, but in a good way. Because, again, like the thing with Mangle that was so tricky is technically Withered Golden Freddy has Mangle's original mechanic. The only difference is these two can't show up at the same time, so their mechanics can't clash. But in FNAF 2, the fact was that for a while, I don't know if actually it is still present in the original game, maybe it is, but they would both show up at the same time and be like, the moment that happens, like, oh, okay, well, I can't really continue now, because if I don't flash the light, guess what, with the Foxy's getting me, but if I flash the light, Mangle's getting me. So obviously that was an issue that they kind of like addressed here by changing, well, they changed some of the mechanics and obviously made it so that Golden Freddy only shows up on their own. And then of course you have Shadow Bonnie, who is definitely different. They show up in the office, plunges the office into darkness, which can make things tricky when it comes to Withered Foxy or vent animatronics, right? If they're in the vents and you can't see them, obviously that's going to be a huge hindrance, so that's a cool mechanic. And Shadow Freddy is honestly pretty useless because, yeah, he blocks the view, but when do you really need the view at all in this game? You really don't need it. It would maybe... I mean, no, even in the Secret Night, it's not really as effective. The idea of blocking camera view. Because again, especially on like a max difficulty night, what time are you going to have to actually go sift through cameras? Like, you know, and actually need to see stuff in the cameras that could get blocked by Shadow Freddy. Is Shadow Freddy going to block anything that you actually need to see? Not really. So it really just doesn't work as a mechanic, especially again in this iteration of Custom Night. You're only going on camera for the puppet, wind up the music box, and that's it. So Shadow Freddy is essentially useless. They definitely could have used a more interesting mechanic. Maybe if it was something like, don't stare at Shadow Freddy for too long, kind of like, you know, actually no, yeah, pretty much if they just did it like that. Don't stare at Shadow Freddy for too long. You know, if they show up on the camera feed, like you see them, shut the camera down immediately. Kind of similar to Shadow Bonnie, only you have to put the camera down instead of lifting it up. I think that would have made a lot more sense for Shadow Freddy being like an antithesis of Shadow Bonnie and actually having a bit of an impact on the gameplay loop. But besides that, obviously very close to FNAF 2. Now, Secret Night is pretty much a lot of like, it's more like skins than anything, right? But it's like obviously themed around a prime version of the animatronics, right? Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy are no longer in their withered state. The toys no longer exist. They kind of have their own unique styles, like High Score Toy Chica, System Error Toy Bonnie, and VR Toy Freddy. And then Toy Foxy obviously being the original version of Mangle, Fredbear Spring Bonnie being their original versions, and Shadow Freddy literally getting replaced by the Bloody Paper Pals. Brow Boy, DD, Endo 02. And obviously with this night, even though a lot of things stay the same, the two biggest changes to the gameplay mechanics, which actually make this night slightly harder, is obviously Spring Bonnie. Having the knife on camera, having to find it, proved tricky for a while because I didn't even know what the knife would look like. It's obviously very clearly like a blue knife in the bottom left corner of the camera, but it's still a tricky mechanic. And then you have Endo 2, who you have to shock, which you can do pretty easily if you just keep a rotation going. Like, okay, you know, every 5, you know, like in my case, I did it so it's like every time I scan the office 5 times, I go to check on Endo. Obviously, you adjust depending on whether some time was used dealing with an animatronic, but that was the best way I could deal with Endo without having to just like use the vent light, because that's just additional time that you don't really want to risk. As for the Spring Bonnie mechanic, it's a little tricky because unlike the other animatronics that force your camera down, Spring Bonnie tends to do it as soon as you put the camera up, at least from what I saw so far when I was playing the game. So I'm not sure if that's the reason why sometimes Spring Bonnie tends to show up at the same time as other animatronics, because it seems like for the most part, especially in that last run, they didn't show up at all. At all. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that whenever there's another animatronic that's trying to attack you, Spring Bonnie can't do anything. So they're kind of like locked out. But there's obviously the rare occasion where they both show up and then you're forced to use a vent. I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just an RNG thing. But at least that's my best understanding of how I think Spring Bonnie's mechanic works, specifically as to like when they appear. And so with that said, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, comment, let me know what you enjoyed from the video and what you want to see from me. The game will be in the description below as always. Great job to everyone that was a part of the game. This has been a blast. Thank you for the person who suggested it to me. Of course, if you're interested in seeing my latest story breakdown on Fnaf Rewritten, it'll be in the description below, as well as a playlist of all my other story breakdowns that I've done before. Soon, I'm planning for early February, or I guess within the next week, to have the story breakdown for Forgotten at Fredbear's. And of course, with all that said, I'll see you in another video. Take care.